NFL segment. Get it going, Gage.
Oh, do we have to? Some news in the NFL. Actually, no. I need to open another beer before we start this NFL segment because it's going to be a rough one.
It's a pretty good idea. Which one do you want? You want to do this one?
I'm going to need it.
I'm going to need it.
Okay. NFL. Some news. Jonathan Taylor finally signed a 3-year deal with the Colts. $42 million contract extension.
He's back.
I'm a little confused why this didn't happen sooner, but hey, I'm not a GM. I'm not Jim Irsay.
The whole thing that going on between the Colts and Jonathan Taylor over the offseason was funky.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it.
And what happened, he returned to the field on Sunday, and of course, Zach Moss was on my bench sitting pretty with about 30 fantasy points. Cost me my matchup this week, and it kind of feels personal. Feels a little personal for me. But nonetheless, I am happy for Jonathan Taylor for finally getting his money. He held out, and it worked out for him. Can't hate on that.
Yeah, weird situation, but glad he's back. He's a great player, so hopefully he gets back and going as normal.
2 key injuries. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Of course, their star receiver is going to be out for at least 4
I didn't even
weeks
hear
with a
about this
hamstring.
until yesterday. Kind of seemed to come out of nowhere.
I want to say I saw Sal tweet about it because he has a fantasy league on Twitter.
Yeah, so he's fucked.
And then James Conner, running back for the Cardinals. I don't know exactly what he did to his knee.
Yeah, I guess he had a knee injury. I didn't really hear about it too much, but
they're both headed to the IR, which means they're out for at least 4 weeks. Is that how that goes?
Correct, Amundo.
You got to think.
Also, my boy Anthony Richardson. Tough.
Dude,
he's been very exciting to watch.
he had the game against the Rams was awesome, and
Yeah.
he is he's an electric player.
Yeah.
Like I said, it reminds me of Cam Newton, and I think he needs to stop running the ball, or not do it as much because it seems like it's not helping him out.
Right.
I mean, it is, but it's not. It's helping the team out, but if he's not also on the field, he's not helping the team out.
Right. Maybe he just needs to get a little stronger.
If you're the Cardinals right now, yes, you've won a couple of games, and yes, you look like a team that can kind of do what you would say that the...
What is it? Are they...
2
wins?
2? 1?
I think they actually only have 1. Dude, they could easily go into tank mode. Yeah, they're 1-4. Trade Kyler.
Your running backs out. Trade Kyler for some assets. Try to get Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want him. I know the Niners are a different animal right now, but you still don't want Caleb Williams in your division.
Well, definitely not. But, I mean, if I'm thinking as a Cardinals fan, I definitely would be like, yo, let's give up on this idea. I mean, Kyler's pretty good. He's definitely a starting quarterback in the NFL. But I think the idea of Caleb Williams right now is too juicy to not consider it,
Like, as a Cowboys fan, I'm considering it right now.
And you guys are
3-2.
borderline contenders.
Yeah, I would say when it's all said and done, it'll be a playoff team.
Oh, for sure.
We're not going to be world beaters.
Yeah. But
And I would have some respect, actually, for the Cardinals if they went, pick Josh Rosen. Didn't work, got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray did not work for us, we're getting Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
There's, I feel like most franchises, like the Cowboys, have too much pride, and they're like, you know what?
And they stick to their guns.
We're going to stick to our guy, even
Yeah.
though we know he's not as good as we can get. So if the Cardinals did that, I'd be like, you know what? Good for them.
I think it is a good awareness organizationally to realize your mistakes. Also, they've had some regime changes too, so that kind of factors into them changing up so much.
Well, and I'm sure the new guy, the head coach of the Cardinals, who was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles last year,
defensive
coordinator, excuse me.
Yeah,
I think he would probably like his own guy, like own fresh, that he could. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a GM, but some guy that can get drafted and
right.
They're pretty much the beginning, like he is.
He wouldn't. I'm sure he wouldn't be mad either way. I mean, having Kyler Murray as your quarterback is not a bad situation. Of course, it's tough first year, him not being healthy, but he walked into that situation. He already knew about it.
I think he knew it.
Yeah, but I think, I think for sure he'd definitely be excited about a good young quarterback coming out of college. So.
Absolutely. A couple little notes from the NFL this week. Jags go 2-0 in London. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
They beat the Bills 25-20. Surprising to me, kind of, because I obviously picked the Bills to beat the spread.
I think
Didn't
I think the factor of the Bills having to fly in there with the Jags staying over a week could have played into it. I mean, you never know, but
makes sense.
Yeah.
Patriots, like we were saying, wow, they get blown out at home again, 34-0 against the Saints. Another one of my picks that.
Yeah, I think first time
the
Belichick's.
The Patriots were favored in this game.
Yeah, no, I know. I picked them.
That's right. I did.
I put my whole wad down on them.
Oh, that was your.
That was my $300 pick.
Wow,
Pretty sick, huh?
That's not good.
No,
that's not good.
No,
the
no.
Patriots they have scored 3 points in the last 8 quarters
And giving up 72.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't Belichick. You don't see this from him.
No, and Mac Jones is terrible.
He's not him.
He's not it at all.
They're going back and forth between like Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones. It'd almost be in their best interest to tank and get Caleb.
I mean, I know that's like we've talked about. That's not. Doesn't seem like it's in Belichick's like DNA to do that, or even the Patriots organization, what we've known them to be. But I mean, he really got to look in the mirror maybe and say, let's give up on the season completely. I mean, they already traded. I think. Or no, they traded for J.C. Jackson. Was that right? Maybe they traded him. I don't remember. I'm talking out of my ass. But yeah, I mean, it's time to. I mean, it may even be time for Belichick to call it. Unless he's like, I can get Caleb Williams and we can restart. But if we're going into next season and they're looking like the same team, he might have to consider moving on.
Come to Cowboys. Seriously.
Bill Parcells 2.0.
Dude. Well, I'll get into the Cowboys later. We'll get more into that later. The Steelers stunned the Ravens with 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, and they beat the Ravens 17-10.
I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but it was a weird.
I think I caught a little bit of this.
Weird fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, like the Ravens love to do, they just like find ways to lose games that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But then they'll go out and blow out teams 2 weeks in a row and then do this. And the Steelers, they can't score offensively, but their defense is pretty sick.
Yeah. Lions improved to 4-1. Shout out to Detroit.
Yeah, they
Shout out to
deserve
the
this.
Lions. They spanked the Panthers 42-24. The Lions now officially look like the third best team in the NFC.
I think I don't know if I'm ready to buy into them as a true Super Bowl contender, but to me, they're a legitimate team in the NFC. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, because we're going to talk about it when we get to our picks, but I feel like they're a pretty legit 4-1. Like, I don't think there's. Mm-hmm. I know they beaten some not so great teams, but they beat the Chiefs obviously week 1
at home.
Yeah.
Or they were on the road.
They're on the road, yeah.
On the road.
So yeah, I like the way the Lions are looking, and my division winning pick for the Lions is looking pretty good. You picked them too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't want to give Jeremy too much shit.
I was just gonna say, I was talking shit when I said that to Jeremy.
Yeah.
No, I'll wait a couple more weeks when the Vikings are really out of it. Yeah.
We have some wood right here.
When the Vikings are really out of it, and the Lions are looking like they win the division.
Yeah, tough scene for the Vikings right now.
Also, tough scene. We're going to get into it finally. It's Niners beat my Cowboys 42-10. Before we get into the actual game, enjoy that.
Let me straighten my hat out a little bit.
I want to say that I'll speak for myself, but I think you would agree. Oz Yellows, yes.
Yeah.
In Santa Rosa was a great time.
That was fun.
Great idea by Devin.
Cool situation.
I'm glad everybody who came or everybody who was able to be there did come. Some people weren't able to be there. I get it. Life happens. Don't hold anything against anybody. It's all good. But it was just like it kind of. Did someone say it felt like Downtown Joe's a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of had if Joe's not to throw shade at Joe's, but if Joe's had their shit together, like they had their shit organized for game days and all that.
We throw shade at Joe's because we've grown up.
Yeah.
If we grew up in Santa Rosa, I'm sure some people would throw shade at Ozzy
Yeah, it's
fair. Just how it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yes, Ozzy did have a little more old school bar vibe that's been there for fucking 40 years.
Yeah.
All this kind of
more dialed in on the sports end too. TV situation was great.
It really was.
Our situation was great.
It was great. We had a lot more tables, and we were like, we'll give other people tables because we didn't have as many people as we thought, and it happens.
That was a good time though. I like that spot. Why can't we have that in Napa? We really don't.
If we had one of those, we would abuse a place like that.
Palisades is the closest thing we have, but Palisades is in between kind of expensive Napa and sports bar,
Yeah. I gotta say about Ozzy and we knew this going into it. It was probably 90-10 Niner Cowboy fans.
They told us it's a Niner bar.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I knew walking into it when I was, war zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were all nice. I wasn't being obnoxious because I'm not that kind of guy. even if the Cowboys would have won, I wouldn't have been like on top of the table,
Yeah.
screaming. You know what I mean? There was a couple of Cowboys fans
They were-
who, those kind of guys at Osceolas who are Cowboys fans rocking this boo boo ass Dak Prescott jersey are the reason why people don't like Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
This guy was. I mean, what was he yelling about? First downs?
Yeah.
I mean, because the Cowboys were struggling to get a first down in this game.
And he was chirping.
He was chirping.
He was chirping when they were down 14-0, and they like landed a good punt. I'm like, dude.
I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not the same.
No.
I think the same dude was talking to me in the bathroom about something, about the game, about the Cowboys. And I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, we're not the same Cowboys fans.
No.
You know, like I've been rooting for these guys since I was 5.
Yeah.
You've been rooting for these guys probably since 2016.
You just see them on ESPN every day, and you're like, oh, this is my team.
You're like, oh, I like the logo.
Yeah. Stephen A. talks shit about him. Fuck Stephen A. I'm a Cowboys
exactly.
fan.
So, really great time. I'd recommend anybody going to Osceolas 100%.
Yeah. That was a good time.
I'd like to go there again, but also maybe like try something else out. It was a great game for what the game was.
Yeah.
Felt like game of the century type. Felt like
Good atmosphere.
Felt like game of the year.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that was not the case because the Cowboys absolutely shit the bed. They looked like a JV team playing the varsity team. I told you and Garrett, I wanted dogs on Sunday night.
Didn't get it.
I got fucking puppies. And these are grown-ass men I'm talking about. And yes, any one of them would kick my ass 100 times over. But they played like fucking puppies. These guys did not look good at all. These guys did not... They weren't ready. I don't think anybody's ready to play the Niners, to be quite honest with you. But the Cowboys definitely did not put up a fight. When it was 14-10 after the Cowboys got their only touchdown, I'm like, okay. Or no, maybe...
14-7.
14-7.
I think it was 21-10.
Okay. I was like, okay, hey, we're here. Like, okay, we could do this.
Yeah, I mean, Dak threw that nice ball over the top.
And that was the only nice ball he threw on me.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, not to like rub it in any further, but like that was pretty embarrassing performance.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. Honestly...
They didn't bring in any facet of the game.
I'm still shook up from it. Like I don't even know what to think. Yeah. I just was not expecting that kind of loss. I thought it'd be a lot closer. I thought the Cowboys would lose. Clearly, I'd engage a guarantee. I bet against them in our picks.
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be the worst loss in the quote-unquote rivalry's history with 32 points.
Yeah.
And yes, in the history of the Cowboys-Niners, I guess you could say it is a rivalry. But as of right now, where it's at in the past, 2 years they played each other in important games, it's not a rivalry.
Yeah,
Niners own this team. Niners should laugh every time they see this team on the fucking paper. They should be like, oh, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And if for somehow the Cowboys make the playoffs and they play the Niners, they might as well not even show up. Throw up the white flag, say, hey, you know what? The Niners could beat the Cowboys in the playoffs with Sam Darnold at the quarterback. I swear to God. I think the Niners own them mentally and physically, but I think more importantly it's mentally.
Yeah.
So I think the Cowboys right now, and I think that's why the game was so important for the Cowboys on Sunday night to win that game, because of what happened the last 2 years in the playoffs. The Cowboys are thinking, now, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
They have the better players. They have the better head coach. They have the better, owner, whatever. They have the better GM, which is probably, is it Kyle Shanahan? It should be Kyle Shanahan, the GM.
Oh, no,
or
John Lynch is GM, yeah.
Well, they're
but
both,
they work together.
Yeah, they work together. This was, like Chris Broussard always says, the absolute F game by the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, this game for me, and I'm letting it all out right now.
Yeah.
This
letting you go.
This game is going to stick with me for a long fucking time. This game will stick with me until the Cowboys can beat the Niners. Whenever it can. Whenever that happens. It might not be for another 15 years. I will remember this game for the rest of my life. We're going to shoot the shit 15 years and be like, hey, remember that game in Santa Rosa?
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, how can I forget? I was at a bar full of Niner fans laughing at my fucking face. You know what I mean? It was... They're just the Cowboys and the Niners. They're not even in the same class.
Yeah.
They are not at all. The Niners should be the Super Bowl favorites. I think they are, according to Vegas. Brock Purdy's playing his ass off. I am slowly becoming a believer. I don't think he's like a Mahomes or
definitely not.
Josh Allen is a better quarterback, but he does make more mistakes. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But the Niners, top to bottom, in every facet. From the janitors to the fucking hot dog vendors are better than the Cowboys right now. It's not even close.
Those people passing out the Bud Lights last time we were at the stadium, they're pretty good too.
And this is why I'm telling Jerry Jones, if you're listening right now, I'm looking at the camera. Tank for Caleb Williams. Do it. You have to. Why wouldn't you? You just. I would even be almost willing to trade Micah Parsons and Trey Lance to the first pick, to the Bears, for Caleb Williams. Is that? I mean, I could be eating my words if they actually did that. They will not do that.
Yeah.
I wish they had the balls to even consider it, though, because I know they don't.
Well, I don't know if you remember, I'm going to get a comparison-wise. If you remember Colin talking about it earlier this season with the Steelers, how they should trade T.J. Watt and like 2 or 3 first-round picks to whoever has the number 1 pick. I mean...
I do remember that, and I might have thought about that as I'm saying that.
Yeah. I mean...
I've heard even cowards say about a top prospect like a Trevor Lawrence or a Caleb Williams that a team, if they really want him, they tell the first pick, who's probably going to get him, we will give you our first-round pick for every year that he is our quarterback.
That's tough because you have to have guys around him. I mean,
you do.
Yeah.
But I think the Cowboys do. I mean, after this last game, I don't know what the Cowboys have anymore. I thought they were a decent team, had decent players.
Yeah.
I don't know about that anymore. But I mean, if you were to tell the Bears, who might have the first pick, or the Cardinals, we'll give you Micah Parsons and a quarterback who could have it. I mean, what would you say?
I mean, it's hard not to consider that for sure. Yeah.
For essentially Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys right now they don't have the quarterback play. They just simply don't. And I think because they're not going to trade Micah Parsons, and they probably shouldn't. I'm just someone who's buzzed talking off my ass.
Yeah.
I think it is seriously time to get Trey Lance in the mix. I think,
if it keeps getting, if it doesn't. You don't see any improvement from Dak, which obviously he's already a veteran at this point in his career. But if you don't see any improvement or steadiness from Dak at any point this season, you're gonna have to consider it. Like,
you have to.
Like if the Cowboys somehow find themselves 5-7 at some point, like the shit just rolls off the tracks, I think it would be time to see what you got and try.
Yeah, because if you're at a point where you know the playoffs are iffy,
yeah.
You got to throw a trade and see what you can do in real game,
right?
In real game time. You have to.
I even wonder, do you just blow it up even if the Cowboys say they won 10 or 11 games, kind of like wherever we predicted?
Yeah, I had the Cowboys losing 7 games, so they're going to lose, in my opinion, more games. It's just this game hurts, obviously, for other reasons.
But so say they do that, they go to maybe they even win a game in the wild card round, and then. Same shit happens as the last couple of years.
Or lose to the Niners or Philly.
Or, whatever.
Or the Lions.
Do you, really consider just saying, sorry, Dak? And Dak just does what he's done every single year up to this point. Should they consider just wiping it clean, starting over, especially at the quarterback and coach position?
I would be okay with it. Because we know what those two together are.
It's become redundant, right?
It's become redundant.
Yeah, it's just same shit.
And yeah, can you argue that, like I've said before, you've run into a team who's made it to the championship game 3 years in a row, and they're just a better team. Do I think if the Cowboys had a good year this year, that they have a chance against a team like Philly? I do, just because of the weird.
There's the
divisional game.
Yeah, familiarity.
Do I think they could even beat the Lions? Possibly, but if they play the Niners, they're going to lose. It's just how it is, and it hurts to say it, but it's the absolute truth. Yeah. It is what it is.
You would like to think that a game that just happened like this could be fuel, but it's just hard to see it,
Yeah. Well, I think
especially with the dominance that the Niners have had over the Cowboys over the last few years.
The silver lining, though, for the Cowboys is early in the season you can bounce back, and you played the Niners, but at least you're not the season's not over.
Yeah.
You got games.
Yeah.
I need to see something different. I think I speak for probably a ton of Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these delusional Cowboy fans that thinks that Dak Prescott could lead us to the promised land, because he can't. He simply can't.
He's not proven
anything.
Not.
He's just not him.
Yeah.
I hate that the term is corny, but he's not him. He's just not.
He hasn't shown me anything in quite a few years that would lead me to believe that he's a franchise quarterback.
And also, do I think Brock Purdy's him? Not necessarily, but he has a good coach, a good GM, and good players.
And he's executing within the system that he plays in. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want to kind of shit on him, he's got the best coach, blah blah blah. But it's not just that simple. I mean, Kyle Shanahan couldn't even get the trust of Trey Lance to put him in there, who was a third overall pick.
Yeah.
So I think you got to give some credit at this point to Brock.
And like I said about the Niners, that's my Cowboys rant for the night. This team is for real. You should be feeling really nice, and they're favorites. They should be, and I don't see a weakness unless the only way this team's not going to win the Super Bowl is if they have some like major injuries, in my opinion. Unless you run into Kansas City and you guys have that mental like, man, he's beaten us before. Can we get past him?
I mean, I think with this team that I fear is that you go up against just a legit quarterback like a Mahomes or even like we got to prove that we can beat Philly. I think that's still
you guys
still
play
there.
in December. That'll be a huge
game. Philly.
You guys could both be.
Which I'm really glad we get to have that test. I mean, even if the Niners get smoked, I'm glad that we get to have that test, get a little taste of it.
And you guys both have a chance to be both either like undefeated or a couple losses, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, getting that because that's going to be like week 14, I think, something like that. Yeah. That's going to be late in the year. I can't imagine both teams would be undefeated, or even one loss each would be impressive. Because I still believe the Niners are going to get snuck up on a couple times, this year.
Yeah. I think Seattle will give them a good run.
Seattle's a solid team. I mean, we kind of have the Rams number in the regular season, but their Sean McVay is always lurking.
It's I mean, the Niners are rolling. It would surprise me if they were undefeated at regular season. Like they're going to lose because even if they're going to lose a game because if they clinch the 1 seed, they're going to rest their guys for a couple games.
If they won more than 14 games, that would be. I think 14 is like a realistic peak to me. Yeah. Like 15 would be a lot. I don't think we've seen anyone win 15 in the 17-game era. So
the only reason why I can see them not wanting to rest players is if like they go to Philly and they lose, and
right.
If Philly's still rolling.
Right. I mean, I know that Kyle Shanahan. Like my feeling is that Kyle Shanahan is that he's taking the 1 seed very seriously. Like he's not fucking around right now.
No,
like, he wants to win every game. He wants to step on teams' throats.
Because the only time that you guys have had the 1 seed, and I think in his tenure,
is the year we went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of been the only way we've gotten to the Super Bowl in the last decade plus.
Home field matters.
Yep. It's or getting a bye at least. I think we did it with the 2 seed back in the Harbaugh era.
Let me tell you, I was glad I did not go to the game. It would have been. I mean, the hype would have been amazing.
It would have been fun. Yeah.
Third quarter, I'd been like, dude, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yep.
But overall, stinks for me. But we had a good time watching it where we did.
Yeah.
Everybody was pretty good to me. I was, I can't really complain that much.
I mean, there's
even people who didn't know me were like,
What's the point of rubbing it in? I mean, it's not like if you and your dad were like obnoxious about it, that'd be one thing, but you're not.
So, also shout out to my dad for being one of the drivers.
Yeah,
and shout out to Alex for driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other car too.
Your dad's drinking root beer like a good soldier.
Yeah.
Love it.
I even told him, I was like, bro, you can have like one. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
He probably would have like got tired or something. So I know if I have like just one beer, I get kind of drowsy.
Right.
So.
Well, here we are. Niners 5-0, Eagles 5-0. It's last 2 undefeated teams. Yeah. I can't wait for that fucking game, honestly.
It's going to be good.
I want to say it's like December 3rd or something like that.
Sounds about right.
Week 13 or 14. Player of the week, Gage. It's time for that. Who you got?
I'm giving credit where credit is due. He didn't really wow the stat sheet like most players did. I'm picking Fred Warner.
Okay.
I'm going 8 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. He is the leader of the defense, in my opinion, and the defense clearly had a hell of a showing on Sunday night. So I'll give it to Fred Warner.
That boy plays with some energy. I got to give it to him. And I feel like, too, I don't know what it is, but every time the Cowboys come around, he has even more, like, another wild hair up his nose.
I just saw a tweet today that he grew up a Cowboys fan.
Oh, is that right?
I think he's pissed off that the Cowboys didn't draft. So
fair enough.
So Cowboys, good job.
Yeah.
We got Micah Parsons, but good job.
Yeah.
Could add Fred Warner, too, probably.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I got to go George Kittle for his 3 touchdown performance. I think he had 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. The deal, Randy Moss. Not as many yards, of course.
Which was also against the Cowboys.
That's right.
George Kittle, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
But You know, he did it because somebody else wore the shirt.
Yeah.
And it inspired me to text Taylor, who has his own company called Made Martin Studios. Shout out Taylor.
Absolutely.
Even though he won't make me the fucking shirt. I want to get one that says, fuck San Francisco with the Niner logo in the middle. And he's like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I thought you wanted money, but I guess not. So
not that bad.
I still plugged your fucking company, though. So, you're welcome, Taylor.
But I definitely want to give a shout out to DJ Moore, who had a massive game on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns, I believe. And Jamar Chase had 3 touchdowns this past weekend as well. So it was a 3-touchdown week for everybody.
Yeah,
you get 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
I mean, Dak had 3 interceptions.
Hey. It's a week of threes. Quinn Ewers 3 turnovers for
just in time for basketball season.
Can't wait to see Steph hitting those threes.
Oh, God.
Basketball predictions coming in 2 weeks. Get ready.
2 weeks. Kings going to the finals, bitch.
Hey, you never know.
No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully the second round this year. We'll brick by brick, right?
Yeah, hey.
Little by little.
Just gotta keep taking those baby steps. All right, let's talk about picks from last week.
How we doing? How we looking?
Gage, you went 2-1. Yes. I also went 2-1.
Okay.
You made more money than me.
Yes.
You were plus $200. I was even because I lost my biggest money bet.
Okay.
You won, of course, on the Niners. You doubled down there and came up looking good.
Cha-ching.
No buzzball this week, of course.
Oh, I'd be feeling nice if I had one of those right now.
Your one loss was Buffalo against the Jags.
Yeah.
And then you also beat me, New Orleans, plus 1.5 versus the Patriots.
Yeah, I definitely beat you
there. You didn't need that 1.5.
No.
Could have been minus 33.
I still would have won.
I, of course, lost my $300 bet. That was New England. But I did win on the Colts minus 1.5 against the Titans. And then the Eagles minus 4 against the Rams.
Next Gage's guarantee is not for a while. I think week 13, week 14 against the Bills. But don't worry, I won't forget.
So our overall records now stand at... Gage, you're looking really good. I got to give it to you. 11 and 4.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I'm feeling nice.
11 and 4. Unbelievable. $1,200.
You got 100?
I'm at $100 up. I'm 8-6-1. I'm Mr. Tie over here. Mr. Push.
You're Mr. Tie, except when it comes to the actual games when you want ties.
Yeah, exactly.
According to your
I know.
According to your bowl prediction.
Well, I got 3 ties total, right? So doesn't that count?
Oh, were we talking about this?
Yeah. So who do you got for your NFL picks this week?
My top pick, my $300 bet, going Niners, minus 7.5 against the Browns. That is a big number, but I think P.J. Walker's going to be the quarterback this week for the Browns, and I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah.
It might be pretty, but it can be pretty.
Browns are dealing with some tough injuries.
Yes. My $200 bet, kind of going with feelings on this one. Chargers plus 2.5 against my Cowboys. I don't really know how the Cowboys are going to react after last week. I just don't. I don't know if this game's on the road or at home, but it is.
Chargers are the home team, yeah.
It's going to be a Monday night. You're telling me the Cowboys get back-to-back.
It is Monday.
You're getting back-to-back weeks. The Cowboys could be embarrassed back-to-back weeks.
Eckler's coming back, it sounds like, this week.
Yeah. Justin Herbert is nice.
Nice.
Today, when it rains, it pours. It's perfect.
There is Brandon Staley, though. Like I love to say.
Your boy.
My favorite.
No, but there's Dak and Mike McCarthy.
True.
It equals it out.
You might have to put Brandon Staley in jail for me. I'm getting a little redundant here.
We could talk about it. And then you stole one of mine. I was going to go Lions minus 3.5 against the Bucks. Can't do it because you picked it first. So I'm going to go against you for your last one. I'm going Seahawks plus 2.5 against the Bengals.
That should be a fun game, actually. I mean, I'll talk about it here in a minute. My 3 picks are Atlanta minus 2.5 against the Commanders. Picked up the Falcons defense in fantasy football, so I'm going all in on the Falcons this week.
I don't know if you noticed, I stole the Dolphins from you last week. I almost went Vikings, but I kept the Dolphins for 2 weeks on purpose.
Okay, because they have a good matchup again this week.
Carolina.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Not bad at all.
The only winless team,
Sometimes it is good to look ahead with your defense.
Yeah, I do.
See if they got a good
defense by committee. Sometimes I like to see who they play.
Oh yeah,
all that
I
kind of
look at that too. So yeah, taking the Falcons. My $200 bet, like you mentioned, I'm taking Detroit -3.5 against Tampa Bay. This game is in Tampa Bay, but I feel like the more legitimate one-loss team here is the Lions. Their offense is awesome. Baker, he's having a fine season so far, but I don't really look at him as a guy that's going to go out and outduel Jared Goff here.
I heard on the radio that the term for the Lions, they're the JV Niners.
JV Niners. I like the Lions a lot. I mean, they're impressing me. I got to give it to them. They're doing better. Like I had high hopes for them. I think I put them at like 11 wins, but they might top that.
Yeah.
But, go ahead.
2 quick shout-outs. Nathaniel Hackett got his revenge on the Broncos.
Sure fucking did.
Good for him.
Sure fucking
And Sean Payton is eating his fucking words right now,
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
That guy's a loser.
And also, Devin mentioned, shout out, bowl prediction. I apparently stole her bowl prediction, which I thought we kind of agreed on it. She's probably right. She remembers things better than I do. She was the originator of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Super Bowl, first kiss, confetti, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, giving her flowers for that. And she did take a shot for it. We saw it.
Good for Gage. Yeah, she did.
Yes.
We didn't post it. We meant to, but we didn't.
Does that mean you have to write down in the...
I mean, it's going to be there because it's under your name.
Yeah.
And we'll remember that.
Yeah, we will.
And yeah, my last pick is the Bengals. I'm taking them -2.5.
I thought you had your last pick.
No, you're
I'm
good.
sorry.
No, you're good. -2.5 against Seahawks. We're going head to head, baby.
All right, let's go.